Hey everyone, this is my second attempt at this. I realized I just did a video and I had it on pause the whole time. I had no idea. Anyway, it's been a long time since I've written, over a year since I've actually done a video. And I wanted to get back on here and just show you and talk about one thing. Yeah, this summer has been wild with Hasbro. They have launched a ton of product, a ton launched and shipped. So in the last month, I've been getting shipping notices multiple times a week. This is coming, this is coming. Everything I've pre-ordered, I think, for year end, they're really trying to clean up and get everything done. Yeah, I've been really sick this week. I was home for 3 days, which is not like me. And I was really surprised yesterday that I got my new Darth Vader's TIE Advanced Vintage Collection. Um, and of course, I'm going to be honest, this was the thing I was looking forward to most. Out of everything that I got, this was what I was most excited about. This just has a nostalgic pull on me. I have the HasLab Cantina. I got three. I have no idea why I bought three. I don't have the room for them, literally. I have ran out of room in my home. I can't set any of them up, and they're all still in their shipper boxes, so I have no idea what I'm going to do. I was obviously an impulse buy. Bought two Darth Vader's TIE Advance, and I've got every single. I only collect from the original trilogy, so I've got everything ordered from the original trilogy for vintage collection. But I wanted to kind of go down a bit of memory lane here because when I got this, as I said, it was part of just one of my favorite things that they were releasing. And it's funny because this was only announced in the summer. This wasn't one of those things where it was like a year ago they announced a vintage collection TIE Advanced. They only announced it in the summertime, so it was kind of shocking the quick turnaround that they were able to do on this item. And of course, what I wanted to do is just sort of showcase it along with the original Darth Vader TIE Fighter. So back then it was called Darth Vader TIE Fighter. Here it's called Darth Vader's TIE Advanced. And of course, it comes with a figure, which we'll talk about. But the original was just called Darth Vader TIE Fighter. And what was so cool about this is that it was just an awesome ship. But the packaging was what was really cool as well. This was probably the only original Kenner Star Wars toy where they hot pinked the color. Even so the background, they've got the hot pink. You can see the hot pink kind of mirroring off his panel there. On the upper right side, there's Vader's face, which I thought was so cool. They didn't do that with any other toy. They mirrored that here. But yeah, the hot pink was just awesome. Even the laser light they made hot pink in the picture. Anyway, this box art was so phenomenal. Now, I got this toy originally in 1979 under the Christmas tree. This is not my original box, that's long gone. But I've had this one for about over 20 years, and I will say in that 20 years, it's definitely aged because I haven't really taken care of it. I've just had it in a piled up in my collection room with other vintage stuff. So I've noticed it's deteriorated too. The box is not as in good shape as it was. But the box art of these vintage collection and these originals are what keeps us collectors' hearts going. You'll see the top here. Here's the top of the boxes. They're very similar in size. The original Kenner on the left and the new vintage collection on the right. I love this photo. I've always loved that photo. They didn't replicate that on the new vintage collection box, but this is such a stunning piece of artwork. And as a toy, again, this is going to get to any little kid that sees this on the store shelf or gets it for Christmas. And I remember specifically, my mom wrapped all our gifts, but this one, she didn't wrap. She kept it in the box and she put a big white bow on the top of the box with, of course, a to Charlie from Santa or whoever. She had said, I think this was from Santa, and didn't wrap it. So it was just sitting there under the tree. And of course, I came downstairs and I still remember I was in heaven. So I would say the boxes are very similar in size. The new vintage collection one is slightly bigger, slightly, but not, I would say, probably depth is bigger, but it's considering the size difference of the ships, you can tell that the packing nowadays is tighter because the new ship, the TIE Advanced Vintage Collection, is quite a bit larger. But these are the original. This is the original box. Again, it's seen some better days, which is kind of sad. I have to take better care, and here's them side by side. One side here, again, back in the vintage days, it was always little boys with the turtlenecks playing with the toys. I think they were always wearing turtlenecks and just kind of showcased it, which was probably a really great marketing tool because we just pictured these being us. So that's one side, really nice, just gorgeous. I'll just show you the other side here on both. Sorry, I'm not really good at multi doing this stuff, but anyway, I'll just try and turn them so you can see both. So here's the other side. Shows again the kids, and then on the Kenner version, and then on the new one, it's got Vader, and it shows the one panel that is removable for the damage. I'm not going to go into that because I would never display the damaged one. It's just not, I don't really care. I want it as it was, and you never really see it damaged in the movie. It happens so fast when he starts to spin out of control. But I think it's a good feature. I'm just going to do one more. I think the bottom is what I want to show you. I'm just going to flip this over without doing too much to it. Because, yeah, it's definitely, this box is not as nice as it used to be, which is kind of sad. But I have to take better care of this stuff. This is the bottom of the box, which they did do a match here. The match here is you've got Vader standing outside of the cockpit, and you've got 3 troopers. Then this one is the same thing, Vader with the 3 troopers. Very similar. Again, the hot pink is very, very, very bright on the old packaging, whereas the new one, it's sort of a pinky purple. But still, the nostalgia factor is there. It works. I love the old but the old Star Wars logo with the Luke and Leia. I know that's called something, but I just love it. Same thing here. Of course, way more writing because, of course, there's just way more rules now. But still great packaging. And again, this toy was my world. I loved this toy. So I'm going to switch over now and show you my original. So here's my original TIE Fighter from 1979, the one that was under the tree. This is it. As you can see, it's lived. It's had a good life. 1979, I was 4. The cockpit window is very yellow. The panels are still intact, but the stickers are coming off, and there's some fraying and scraping. There's a laser light right in the center, which was red, not pink, very red. And the batteries were in the back right here. You'd put them at the bottom, and that little thing in the center is the button to press. It would make that, nostalgic noise. And it wasn't accurate to Vader's TIE Fighter, as you all know, because that was just a handle for us to hold on to as kids. You'll notice that my cockpit is missing one of the doors, one of the flaps. And yes, this is a memory I do have, which is I had left this at one of my friends' houses, and my mom basically said, "Go get your toys." And when I went, the flap was gone, and I had said, "Hey, where's the flap?" And he's like, "It wasn't here when you brought it." And I, of course, in my head knew that was complete, utter lie. And I'm like, "Okay, well, it's okay." And I never got it back. So this has been without flap for a while. The other thing you'll notice is that the chair is missing, and it had a little flap that came up here. I do have it. I just can't find it. I know I've boxed it up. This thing has been in a box forever, and I still have all my original Star Wars. And of course, I had to add my little Vader, an original Kenner Vader. That's I've had this thing forever. So Vader would always be the pilot of this ship in my playing world. I would never let anybody else fly this, and it was always a badass ship. This ship was so cool in my world. The wings, used to pop off through buttons right at the top here, as any of you serious collectors know. That also broke, and that broke too at the same friend's house where they no longer worked, and the wings would not click in anymore. I'm not sure what he did to it when I left it there, but I think my mom's boyfriend, to fix it, he went in, he took this apart, and he took that piece out with the springs so that I could get the flap, so I could get the wings in. So the wings stay in, but they're very loose. Anyway, I would not let go of this toy, and I played with it my whole childhood. I never let go of this toy, and it is the best memories. Again, came in this box here. Same ship, looks much nicer on the box than mine does. But I was totally in love with this thing, and it was loved. I always think of Toy Story when I think of these toys, and you know, they were in my room when I went to bed. I'd have them on my nightstand where I would stare at them before I went to sleep, and I just love them so much. And they were the gateway to the Star Wars universe as kids. And I never saw Star Wars until the 80s because it didn't come out on VHS until I think 81 or 2. I think 82. Well, I was in love with Star Wars as a 4-year-old, and in 79, that's because my mom had bought me the storybook with all the photos. So that's what I went by. And I was just in love with the universe, loved all of them. And my mom just started buying me the toys, and I remember that was it. I don't know if I asked for them the first year. I can't remember, but she bought them, and then I was hooked. And so that year was so important because I got the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, I got Luke's X-Wing, and I got the Death Star, and then I got a ton of figures. And man, did I play with these things. That's all I did. I couldn't focus on anything else. It was Star Wars universe. But this is my original Darth Vader TIE Fighter. So, really beautiful piece. Now I'm going to do a quick shift to the new one. And as you can see, the new one is very, very, very beautiful. It is an exact replica of the model used for A New Hope. And I believe Hasbro said they did get access to the model. And I don't know what they did, but this looks like the model from the movie. And you can tell, like I was saying before, the back of it has the long piece here. It's very, very filled out, whereas here it doesn't. It's just got a place for a handle. Very beautiful. It's just, honestly, this toy is, I had to take it out. I don't usually unpack because I just don't have the room, but I sat there last night and I said, well, I want to hold this thing. I want to have it in my hand. There's no electronics, no batteries, and no action features like wings that pop off like this one when you'd press them, they'd flap off, which was such a great idea, especially for little boys and kids in the 70s and 80s. It was like being in the movie. So anyway, they don't have it on this, and that's fine because the price point is over $100. Yes, this thing is expensive. It's 120 something US. And I think it's for adult collectors, and they know this. Of course they know this. Like, look at the size difference. And think about the box. Like, the boxes are pretty close. And what was cool about this figure is you actually got a new Vader packaging. And again, they went with the hot pink purple, which I thought was a brilliant, brilliant move on Hasbro's part. That is them paying attention. I don't care what people say about Hasbro and complain. They are doling out some amazing product for us original trilogy collectors from the day one. Do I agree with everything they do? No, but I think overall they're doing a phenomenal job in this business. So when I see a lot of the complaining, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm over it. I don't care. This Vader is an existing Vader, but I just love the hot pink purple, and with him in the Death Star boardroom where he's with Grand Moff Tarkin. Packaging in the back, again, they use the hot pink purple, but again, this figure is phenomenal. It is, I can't see them doing this any better. It is an exact size down replica. Look at progress. This is 1978-79 to 2025. I know it's dark, sorry, my lights aren't great, but this thing is so beautiful. And no, I'm not opening it. I have other versions of this opened. So I'm gonna applaud Hasbro. I think this was a brilliant move, this ship. I think it is, the color is beautiful. I have all versions of this TIE fighter, so there's a couple other Hasbros that were done between 95 and now, and I have every version, and I'll say this one is not a spit out version repainted. This is a new version, and it is absolutely perfect. This is a model. This is model material. You're not going to get a better version. This one here, still the love of my life, will never stop with this one. I do want to clean it up. Oh, by the way, that's my dog right there under the blanket. Kenny's decided to nest. Oh, he just heard me say his name. Anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. I'm so in love with this edition. I think that Hasbro did a brilliant job. And what somebody's paying attention, even just to the colors. I just thought, wow, this pulled me big time. And again, this was my most anticipated item that I was waiting for. The cantina I've got, yeah, it's cool. I've watched all the videos. I think the figures are cool. All that. They've got the other version of the cantina, the old Sears exclusive. I've got a couple of those. I just got those too. Tons of the figures. Chewbacca came in, Ben Kenobi. The new Stormtrooper packaging is in. I've got that too. Here he is right here. Yeah, I think it's a really, really beautiful Stormtrooper. Definitely loving all the stuff they're doing. But, you know, I think the HasLabs are cool. I really do. I have 3 of them now. I have the sail barge, and I have the... Now, I don't usually collect outside of the original trilogy, but I did buy the Mandalorian's, whatever that ship is called, that silver ship. I haven't even opened it. It's still in its shipper. And then I have the cantina, which for whatever reason I bought 3, and I'm regretting it because I don't have the room. But look at this ship. Oh, you've never seen such a beautiful ship. It is just gorgeous. So I just wanted to put a video out there and just, you know, say I'm still around. And look at this. Look at these old guys who are still just dominating the planet. They're just so cool. And no one will ever say no to a new one. With bright purple, pink, hot pink packaging, it just pops Star Wars. Out of all the figures, all of the ships, they did Darth Vader in hot pink. For some reason, I feel it's brilliant. Just an idea. And again, I'm so connected to my childhood through this ship. This is one of my definite biggest attachments to my world as a kid and my happiness. So I wish you all a great day. World is in shambles, and I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks.